3776 800-919 ESPN. So Corey Kluber, 3 runs in 4 innings today. Couple of home runs. Really just terrible again. Terrible. 77 pitches. This one threw me off, though.
Same as last time. I thought it was another step in the right direction. I'm as frustrated as anybody with the results on the scoreboard, so to speak. But, that I can tell that things are heading the right direction, and you can only pitch as long as they let you.
All right, couple things. Number one, you only pitch as long as they let you. There's 2 problems here. Number one, if you pitch better, they'll let you go longer. That's how it works. Number 2, why haven't the Yankees let Corey Kluber get over 80 pitches yet? Like, I know it was really hot down there, and when it comes to pitch counts, there are very difficult 80 pitch days where it feels like, you threw 150. And there are days where it feels like you threw 20 pitches after you threw 80. Now, my feeling is probably that with the heat today, this early in the year, didn't want to necessarily wear him out. Maybe that was taking something out of him because I heard Spike say before the sun was brutal. It was 90 degrees. That was the feel of the game. But he was asked after that, did you want to go back out? Were you fighting to go back out? And he's like, well, listen, everybody wants to go back out, but it's not my job to go and fight to go back into the game. No, absolutely not. I don't love the idea, though, that in the first start of the season, he was supposed to be up around 80 to 85 pitches, and they've gotten into the 70s, but they haven't really gotten anywhere beyond that yet. And thirdly, at some point, those 77 pitches have to last longer than 4 innings. That's the bigger issue. When you're throwing that many pitches and you're not getting beyond the 4th inning, that is a killer. It's a killer for everybody. You're not being economical with your pitches. And Corey Kluber may be at the point of his career where, he's not a strikeout guy by any stretch. He's a location guy. He's a movement guy, all those kinds of things. Doesn't seem to have that right now. And when he doesn't have that, he doesn't have anything. So you hope at some point this starts to get a little bit more economical. But when you throw that many pitches, that's why they take you out of the game. 77 pitches in 4 innings is almost 20 pitches an inning. That is not ideal. Tony in Bridgeport next, 98.7 ESPN. Tony!
That's me. Man, I want to know this, Carlin. When is Cashman going to get accountable for this?
It's a great question.
Who constructed this team?
It's a great question.
How is it that this guy, the pitcher, gets to pick who pitches on the team? They didn't want Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer's throwing strikes with one eye. We can't get him to play because another guy on the team don't like him.
Yeah, but it's not that. It's not that at all. The Yankees were not going to go and spend that money, Tony, on him this year. Thanks for the call. That's not what was going on. That's not what was going on. This is not about spending money. It's about how the money has been spent. Guys, don't scream and yell about the Yankees being cheap, okay? When they're at the luxury tax threshold. Yeah, I think that if things get really ugly here and they can be convinced that it could be saved, they would go over. I think they would. But the bigger problem is what he hit on at the beginning. Brian Cashman. Brian Cashman has been an issue for a while because it has been the same team in essence for the last few years, and there hasn't been any different result. There have been ancillary pieces that have been moved in and out. There have been a couple of pieces that have been relatively big that have been moved out. This is why I wanted Tanaka to be back, as opposed to signing Corey Kluber. And Tanaka may have wanted $15 million and Kluber got 11. It's not even close what's worth it. Tanaka, at least you know you're getting 6 innings. They didn't go out and sign anybody who was even an innings eater, per se. How about Elliott in Brooklyn next, 98.7 ESPN? Big E, what do you got?
Hey, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
I'm good. Do you remember a few years ago, Harper popped out, and I think it was Applebaum. He attacked him in the dugout. He screamed at him, whatever it was.
Yeah, vaguely, yeah. With the
Yankees,
nuts.
they need a guy like that. They don't hustle.
The Yankees need Jonathan Papelbon?
No. They need someone to hold everybody accountable. Last night, Shohei Ohtani, he's a superstar in his own right, and the guy's hustling down the line. Gary Sanchez doesn't hustle. Torres doesn't hustle. They don't hustle. They don't care, and I just don't get it. They play like they don't want it.
Elliot, I think there is some validity to what you're saying, and thanks for the call. I don't think there is complete validity to what you're saying. I think that gets overplayed. There is such a thing as, I think you've heard Michael use the word, it's used a lot in baseball, as eyewash. In other words, the fake hustle, the hustle for hustle's sake, to make things look better. There have been guys over the years who have been absolutely guilty of that. I don't get caught up too much in that stuff, but I do get caught up when Gary Sanchez is making base running errors and is not hustling into a ball that could have been a double the other day. All that kind of stuff. Yes, I do get caught up in that. Am I going to lose my mind on a routine ground ball if they're not busting it all the way down the line? I'm not. It's hustling in the right spots. It's hustling when it matters the most. And I'm not quite saying this right. When it matters the most is most of the time, but I don't have the bandwidth to get too fired up over a routine ground ball. But when it comes to just the spots in the game where you can't take things for granted, that's where, when you do take it for granted, you get burned. Sanchez can't be doing that in those situations. And the mental mistakes, base running, mental mistakes. That was just beyond brutal last night. It gives a black mark to every slow fat guy that there is like me. At the very least, we could be smart. That was a huge mistake on the base paths. That gives us a bad name. You're representing me out there when you make that mistake. The ball gets away from the catcher. We don't leave first base unless it ends up in the dugout. And we have to. Know your role. Know your role. Come on.
It's Carlin
I have very little patience for stupidity.
on 98.7 ESPN.
You're down.
Okay.
Rosenberg, Security Dodge in Amityville is Long Island's SRT headquarters. And now, Dodge Performance Days are here. Take advantage of their no money down, lowest lease deals around by getting out of your lease up to 6 months early. Right now, Security Dodge has the largest inventory of new SRT performance vehicles in stock and ready to roar. The new Ram TRX, that's right, the Ram TRX is in stock. 2021 Charger and Challenger Scat Packs, Hellcats, Trackhawks, Durango Hellcats. You want power? Come get some. If you're shopping, Security Dodge in Amityville is the place to go. Why go someplace else for a good deal when you can go to Security Dodge and get the best deal? Over 2,000 cars, SUVs in stock and ready to go. There's no doubt why
I just realized that's Brian, right, from The Office.
Dodge
Yeah.
Ram dealer. Security Dodge is
Yeah,
also the largest
Kevin. Yeah, Brian
in all of
Baumgartner.
New York, and has the largest inventory in the Northeast. Come get the best deal now. Security Dodge sells more because they
It's gonna give you an earworm if I can't figure this out.
sales shop 24/7 online at securitydodge.com. And don't forget to tell them Rosenberg sent you.
At Eddie Sings tasted Popeye's new Cajun flounder sandwich and found his muse.
Let me eat it with delight. Let me know about all the tartar sauce and pickles knows I love you. I want you. I need you.
At Eddie Sings from Chicago, Illinois on Tuesday, March 3rd. Love that Cajun flounder fish sandwich from Popeyes. Get our delicious new Cajun flounder sandwich today. Limited time at participating U.S. restaurants.
At Boar's Head, we stop at nothing to achieve the most authentic flavors. That's why our bold Pitcraft slow-smoked turkey breast is hand-seasoned in our signature dry rub, including guajillo chili and brown.
I could put your heart out there, Chris.
And slow
okay.
real mesquite wood. For a burst of flavor so delicious, you would think you were standing over an open fire pit. Bold Pitcraft slow-smoked turkey breast, available at the deli and only from Boar's Head. Compromise elsewhere.
Did my...
Hey, it's Michael K. Tune in for my show Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m., presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com today.
That commercial's got to get killed.
The Home Service Club sponsors this paid advertisement.
Brian just left the studio. I'm doing your podcast. What was the commercial?
It says it's Michael K. Listen to the show 3 to 7.
Fridge on the fridge.
Okay, I got you. I'll let Brian know.
You need home warranty coverage from the Home Service Club. For around $1 a day, if any of your covered appliances and systems break down, HSC will either do the repair or replace them. HSC has over 15,000 pre-screened, highly rated technicians with the fastest response time in the industry. HSC provides coverage for up to 47 different appliances and systems in your home. Call for a free, no-obligation quote from a trusted HSC service specialist about a home warranty for your entire home, all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. 800-990-8599. Call now and get your first month free, plus $75 off your first year. 800-990-8599. 800-990-8599. That's 800-990-8599. 800-990-8599.
Hey, it is Greeny insisting we talk about golf again. Are you, like me, always considering new golf equipment to improve your game? Let me tell you about Squares golf shoes. The patented Squares toe provides balance, stability, and increased connection to the ground, which increases your swing speed. And that adds an average of almost 10 yards in distance. That's right. It has been proven through independent testing. So do what I did. Start wearing Squares golf shoes. Go to squares.com, get their 30-day money-back guarantee. Use the promo code Greeny, you'll get $20 off. Change your shoes, improve your game. Visit squares.com.
The Jeep.
30 seconds, Chris.
Okay. On now. So join us today for great deals. There's no debate. There's only one. Jeep. Well-qualified returning FCA lessees get a low-mileage lease on the 2021 Jeep Renegade Latitude 4x4 for $109 a month for 24 months with $4,299 due at signing. Tax, title, license extra. No security deposit required. Call 1-888-925-JEEP for details. Requires dealer contribution and lease through Ally Financial. Current lease must end by 2/28/22. Extra charge for miles over 20,000. Residency or supply. Take delivery by 3/1/21. Jeep is a registered trademark.
You want me, I want you, baby. My sugar boo, I'm levitating.
Hey, the Michael K. Show is celebrating its new 2 p.m. start by giving away $10,000 in the month of April. Every weekday in the 2 p.m. hour, be listening for the K Cash Sounder and be ready to call in to claim $500 cash. It's all from your home for the hookup. 98.7 ESPN. Make sure that Dua Lipa is in the rotation from now on. She stays. That's a phenomenal song. Hit us up on Twitter at Chris Carlin, and let's get you some of those right now. Carl Semkow, know your role is right. These mistakes are stuff that you learn in Little League. If you don't make them, if you go and make them in the big leagues, you're either incredibly stupid or you just don't care. Well, I don't think incredibly stupid, but I think careless at times is how you would put it. AJ Fiore. Sure, Britton, Voit, later on Severino, maybe a deadline trade. Yankee season starts in October. Here's the problem with that, AJ, and you know this. When you really devalue the regular season, like frankly we all are right now, it rubs off on the team, and I think there is not a ton of urgency that they're playing with early. And to that point, Matapup Sports checking in. Yankees have urgency, just lousy starting pitching. Oh, is swagger better than urgency, or perhaps they should want it more than the other team? Such a silly thing to play with urgency. Really? No, it's not a silly thing. The Yankees aren't not playing with urgency right now. They're not. Listen, Hyunjin Ryu is an excellent pitcher, and he looked every bit of it last night. But let's call it what it was. There were at bats last night that were non-competitive from the Yankees. The starting pitching has been terrible. I don't disagree about that. And that has been the biggest problem so far. The Yankees expect to be able to clobber teams, so the starting pitching doesn't have to be amazing. They're okay winning games 8-6. Little Met fan or a Long Island Met fan 74. It's over, Johnny. Yankees starting staff isn't winning them a World Series. Absolutely not. John Capp, DFA Jay Bruce right now. I have a feeling that by the end of April, this is me speaking, that Jay Bruce will not be a Yankee. Les Mitchell here checking in. I know you don't like the Yankees, and I think they have played horrible, but come on. No, it's not about me not liking the Yankees. I'll tell you exactly where this all comes down, okay? 100% honesty. I grew up hating them. And I hated them throughout most of my life, up until I would say 6-7 years ago. And the reason why it stopped is, well, it's twofold. Number one, the Yankees being good, it's good for New York. And number two, I have more of an interest in watching the games objectively a lot of times now than with a rooting interest. I do want them to be good because it's good for New York and, frankly, it's good for business. But understand where I grew up. I grew up in New Jersey where my father was a huge Brooklyn Dodgers fan. So we became Met fans. And being a Yankee fan was a non-starter in my household. A non-starter. Like, we'd drive past Yankee Stadium on the way to Shea, and I would point and I'd say, "What's that?" And he said, "Don't worry about it." My family, before I was around, they lived in Boston and Worcester, Mass. So I've got a couple of Red Sox fans in my family too. But for me, it was just kind of born into. The last several years, seeing the Yankees do better is good for all of us. That's all. So I have no dog in this fight anymore. I really don't. And last one, Chesterfield Chris, I give you a lot of credit. One of the only media guys realistic goes on the roster, overrated Brian Cashman, what he's done. It's time that Cashman goes. It's not about the other media guys. Cashman does play the media game exceptionally well. It's just that we can talk about all this payroll and we can talk about all this money that's been spent, but the Yankees bar was set at a certain level. And that level was winning championships. The Yankees bar is no longer set at that level. It's win as many regular season games as you can to get to the postseason and roll the dice. It's not get it locked up. There is not that level of urgency. And I'll tell you this, that part of it comes down from ownership now. All right, Julian and Patterson next, 98.7 ESPN. Julian.
Yeah, hey, how's it going? Thanks for taking the call.
Yes, sir.
I'm so happy that you're here, and I can hear you for a long time. Like, usually it's short, but let me be quick. I completely agree with you on every point as it pertains to the Yankees. I am a Yankees fan, and one of your previous callers talked about, I'm not worried about, right now I'm worried about September and October. What is the bullpen going to look like in September and October if we only have one starter that can stretch up until the 6th, maybe the 7th inning? You have Sevy that might come back in May. Okay, fine, but he's also a strikeout pitcher, just like Garrett Cole. And they use up a lot of pitches. Are we going to have them pitching 120 pitches and then hopefully we'll get to the bullpen? Like, what's going on? Like, what are we actually going to do? What is the bullpen?
They want to get 6 innings out of the starter, Julian. Thanks for the call. And then give it to the bullpen. That's an ideal world for them right now. That's what it is. And if they get 7, it's an even better night. That's all they're looking for. Bruce in Flushing has been very patient. Bruce, what's going on?
Chris, 2-part call. Who is to blame, or where we go from here? Obviously, the person to blame is Brian Cashman. He has a history going after injured pitchers that doesn't work out. And if I'm Hal Steinbrenner, I'm going to tell Brian, you want me to pay $11 million for this? Second part, where we go from here? Number one, I tell one of the pitchers, that's going bad. Okay, go on a DL for 10, 15 days, and we'll take care of you. Bring up either Debbie or Michael King. 2, if you're not going to play Clint Frazier, you might as well trade him for a starting pitcher. And C, I know you may not have takers, but supposedly you haven't takers in the past. Silently explore talks about Sanchez, see who wants it, if anybody, and somebody does want him, pull the trigger on Sanchez to get the job.
The problem is they've overplayed their hands in these cases, Bruce. I wouldn't necessarily disagree with you, but thanks for the call as always. That with Sanchez, they've waited too long on that one, and they've waited too long on Clint Frazier. You know, they have overvalued the guys that they think are good, but those guys haven't given them enough in return. Frazier has to play every day. Frazier has to play every day. Just let him go play for a month, even if he doesn't hit. Let him go play for a month. Give the guy a shot. Yes, you have to be able to produce, but I also have to be able to let him know that he's going to be in the lineup every single day and not guessing when he gets to the ballpark. Neil and Manalapan. Neil, what's up?
Hey, a lot of callers already talked about this, but I think it's time for the 20-plus year of Cashman is over. We should probably get rid of him before the trade deadline. There's a potential Theo Epstein available.
Yeah, it's not going to happen before the deadline.
Fresh faces. Well, because you might make another mistake in signing Judge, Sanchez, and keeping Torres instead of trading these guys, or you're not going to get anything once they get free agent. These are injury prone. These are not players that are championship caliber.
But he's not going to be signing any of those guys long term right now. And thanks for the call. I get your idea behind it. Okay. The concept of Brian Cashman continuing to run the organization after all this time, after this season, changing that up, it may be time. I mean, to me, it is time. But he has become, as I've said before, like a member of the family. He is the fifth Steinbrenner in a lot of ways. So that doesn't come easily necessarily. But at some point, you got to produce, don't you? And when we're laying this money out and we're not winning championships and we've been as patient as we have, got to change something. And it's not the manager anymore. Like, as much as the manager does not get any credit for anything anymore, it is not fair to pin all of the blame on them when things go wrong. So I don't want to see Aaron Boone lose his job in the middle of the year and Brian Cashman is picking another manager. That would be absolutely absurd. Absurd. And as far as Theo Epstein's concerned, they're not going to do anything there in the middle of the season. So Theo Epstein, if that's what they have their mind set to do after this year, and you're going to have to go out and pay him a ton to get him to come back, hey, I wouldn't be shocked if it happened. I'd be fine if it happened. I mean, this is a guy that's done it for the Red Sox and the Cubs. He could retire now and he's a legend. He's not gonna. Get out the checkbook, and time's running out here on Brian. Knicks, Pelicans, up next. John Giannone, Brendan Brown on the call. Pat O'Keefe, pregame next. Carlin out. Stay handsome.
You're down.
Mobile, and you can
All
see
right.